and I'll share my screen. Today we're going over working out for your hormones. We love this. I'm about to get very passionate about this topic, so just be prepared. Um, yeah, I think right now hormones are a big buzz, of course, as they should be, honestly. I really do think it's like about damn time. I mean, to be honest, like the first 5 years of my fitness journey, I had no idea that hormones like actually were even real. Like it's kind of one of those things that you hear about, but you don't see it, you don't hold it or hear it. So, but they're very much real, and it very much plays a big impact in your fitness journey. So, yeah. All right, let's get right into, ooh, let me do it this way, the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. And if you thought I was going to talk about cycle syncing your workouts, you're right. So, cycle syncing your workouts. Has anybody not heard of this? I'm actually curious. So, I want you to unmute and say if you've never heard of cycle syncing your workouts.
I've never heard of it.
Really?
No.
Atlanta, interesting.
Same.
Who's that?
Katie.
Katie? Oh, hey. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Hey.
So I'll kind of fill you guys in before I just start diving into my opinion, because I love my opinion. Cycle syncing your workout is like if you go on TikTok and Instagram, it's a huge thing. I would say right now, but it kind of has been a huge thing for like maybe 6 months or so. But it is saying that during your follicular phase and your ovulation phase is when you should be strength training. And honestly, I don't even, they'll break it down between and be like, okay, follicular phase, you should do HIIT training, like HIIT style circuits, because you'll have the most energy, yada yada. And then during ovulation, you should strength train because that's when you'll be the strongest, you'll have the most muscle growth, yada yada. They'll say during your luteal phase, that should, be maybe like a week off or something low impact, like yoga or Pilates. And then, on your period, again, like a week off or, something like a long walk outside, whatever. So there's a lot of people pushing that, and a lot of girls started to do that. And I'm honestly sure it was beneficial for reasons that I will get into. But let me get into my thoughts on this whole cycle syncing your workout. So basically changing your workouts depending on what phase of your cycle you're in. Your body is unique. Your cycle is unique. And each cycle is unique from each cycle. So this month's period is different than last month's period. There's a lot of different things that go into that. First of all, you're not a robot that just completely replicates itself every month. Things are going to change. Things are going to be different. Your levels are going to naturally be a little bit different, as well as what you do within the 28-day cycle plays a massive role on that period. So if you were drinking a lot in the last 28 days, barely got any sleep, high stress, and was eating a lot of processed foods, we can pretty much guarantee that you're going to have some extreme cramps, a lot of bloating, be very fatigued, just have high PMS symptoms. Versus, maybe if we prioritize sleep and water and stress management and prioritized whole foods, and protein and built muscle and all of that, this next period cycle will probably be a little bit less intense. So each cycle is unique, and there's plenty of things that play a role in that. Listening to your body's language, and I really purposely use those words because I had a coach one time that like really preached that, like being able to speak the language of your body. So being able to listen to your body's language is, I just think, a good way of putting it. But being able to listen to that and your body's internal wisdom is the best advice that you could follow, even more than what I could tell you or what any scientist could tell you. Listen to your own fucking body. That should always be above anything else, any doctor or whatever. You could very well hit a PR and have the best strength training session of the month while you are menstruating. But according to cycle syncing, you should feel weak and you should be tired and you shouldn't hit PR or whatever. Like, that is not the case. I know that for myself, and I have, fallen guilty of that, of thinking like, oh, I'm on my period, or my luteal phase will probably be a little bit weaker today. And then I go in and I hit a PR, or I have so much energy of like, really good endurance for my cardio session or whatever. But if I listen to other things or people telling me I should, I want you to know that there's a pretty there's a lot of evidence to like kind of like, I think it's called the nocebo effect, or I guess I don't know if this would be the placebo effect or the nocebo effect. I kind of get them mixed up sometimes. Of basically saying, okay, well, you should feel tired, and then you get told that enough, or you think that enough that you suddenly do feel tired, or whatever, things like that. So I think it can kind of get to a slippery slope of, again, not listening to your body, but listening to somebody else tell you how you should feel or should act or whatever. And also, women do not need any more fear towards strength training. Holy shit. This is like the first time in ever that women are actually strength training. You go into the gym and there's actually women in the weight section. Like, I don't know if you guys remember going to the gym like in 20, I don't know, like even like 2016. There were no women in the weight room, and it was weird to be strength training. Probably, maybe for most of you, until you joined Frequency, or until you know, maybe went on TikTok and were exposed to that, because I think that's a really great part of social media is strength training became popularized. And we see the effects, we see the benefits, we see why muscle mass is so good for longevity, for bone density, for women specifically, and for hormones. So the last thing we need is something that comes out and now is bringing women back into a state of, oh, maybe I should only strength train 1 or 2 weeks out of the month. Like, oh, we don't need any more fear around it. Okay. Also, adjust your intensity and your weight selection depending on how your body feels, your energy levels, your food intake, specifically your carb intake for the day, your sleep the night before, your alcohol intake the night before, your stress levels, your soreness. That's what you should dictate your intensity levels in your workouts on all the time, by the way. So if you're on your period or in your luteal phase and you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling tired, you put a barbell on your back with no weight and it feels like it's 1,000,000 pounds, that's always what you should listen to. Always listen to your body. Always adjust the weight and intensity depending on how you feel. Not because you are in X, Y, or Z phase of your cycle. Don't base it off of a TikToker saying how you should feel. And this will also only disconnect us from our bodies even more. A big, I think, special aspect of Frequency is that we are really promoting get more connected to your body, get more in tune with your body, listen to that, speak your body's language, things like that. And this will only disconnect you more if you try to do cycle syncing workouts, because again, it's not actually listening to your body. It's going off of no research. So I wouldn't do that. So yeah, if you're craving slower movement like yoga or Pilates or a long walk instead of a lifting session that day, do it. No matter what phase of your cycle you're in, it goes the other way too. If you're like, wow, I'm in my ovulation phase, I had a great meal today, but honestly, my body's really sore, or I didn't have the best sleep, so I'd rather do Pilates, or I'd rather just take a rest day. You can do that. You should do that. Okay. I'm a big component of yoga and Pilates and stuff like that. So that's great. And it does not need to be exclusive to being in your luteal phase or whatever. Okay. So hormones and hormones impacted by exercise. I couldn't read that. So we're going to get a little sciencey here, but this is fun to, kind of know what hormones are being affected. So testosterone, women and men have testosterone. Men have higher amounts of it, but women not only have it, but we need it and we thrive with testosterone. It plays a crucial role in muscle growth and recovery, which is a massive thing of what we're trying to do here. Testosterone is usually low in women who are on birth control, making these processes lower, like, muscle growth and recovery. Working out just naturally increases your testosterone, which also testosterone enhances your strength, your endurance, your overall performance. Kind of like think about like that vitality feeling, like when you're feeling just like vital, like energized, you got blood flow going. That is like the feeling of testosterone. So yeah, getting your levels checked is important, and knowing that you have a healthy range of testosterone is great. Weightlifting will increase your testosterone. Endorphins. We've all heard of endorphins. Those are the feel-good hormones that are released while working out. This will reduce the perception of pain and increase feelings of like euphoria. Insulin is improved and more regulated as we work out. So it improves insulin sensitivity, allowing us to absorb glucose, regulate blood sugar, which, reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. Also, as we workout, which therefore improves insulin sensitivity and regulates our blood sugar. That therefore will also minimize any intense cravings. Your thyroid is affected. Regular exercise enhances thyroid function, which leads to a better metabolism and energy production. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, but either of those play a big role in weight gain, usually with people with hypothyroidism, gain a lot of body fat for no reason. And people with hyperthyroidism lose a lot of body fat or muscle mass or bone density for no reason. So regulating your thyroid and enhancing that function is super important. Cortisol is definitely impacted as we work out. Cortisol is released as we work out. And I know a lot of times I bring up cortisol in a negative connotation. It just like, that's usually kind of when it's brought into a conversation, but we need cortisol. We absolutely need it. Cortisol regulates our metabolism and it regulates our stress. However, too much cortisol can cause muscle breakdown, leaving the body in a chronic state of fight or flight. So same idea with thyroid, right? Like hyperthyroid or hypo, meaning too much or too little. Same thing for cortisol, too much or too little. We just want a good balance of these, which is why you hear like hormone balancing. So none of these, do we want too much of? None of them do we want too little of. So let's get into kind of like the grand question of this whole thing. The best workout for your hormones. What is it? What is the best type of workouts for your hormones? There's Pilates, there's yoga, there's strength training, there's HIIT, there's cycling, there's biking, there's swimming. What is it? Strength training. Shocker. Strength training is what leads to all of those benefits that we just went over. All of those, benefits of these hormones and lowering and reducing and yada, yada. That was all based off of strength training. So year round, strength training is going to be the best for your hormones. Month long, meaning no matter what phase of your cycle, strength training is going to be the best for your hormones. And lifelong, whether you are 10 years old or 110 years old, strength training is the best for your hormones, your bones, your body, all of that. Now, what is the worst workout for your hormones? What's the worst thing you can do for your hormones as far as movement? HIIT cardio or loud, dark, intense group fitness classes. Not saying that these are inherently bad. Not saying that if you take 1, 2, 3 of these classes, a week or a month or whatever, that it's going to damage your hormones. Okay. I do not want that to be the case. However, if we are strength training 4 times a week versus if we are doing HIIT cardio or going to a spin class 4 times a week, strength training is going to be way more beneficial for your hormones. What all of this is going to do is really, really raise your cortisol, which could have long-term effects of not being able to lose body fat and being insulin, resistant and all of that. So that is it. I'm gonna go back to the first slide. Let me actually go here. Let me go to the cycle syncing workouts. And if you guys could take a little pic, a little screenshot, post, tag, share, I'll send a random lucky duck a free supplement, whether that's a protein powder from Kion, a aminos acid, which I still need to send to Sydney hers. I have not forgotten. Yeah, a sleep supplement, whatever you want from the website. If anybody wants to post this on Instagram, tag frequency, tag me, that would be great. All right, cool. Any fun questions, comments, concerns, anything that touched base, hit home, or anything going on in the week that's fun to know? Period. All right.
Wait, I couldn't unmute. It's
Okay.
Sydney.
Here we go.
I feel like I've been bamboozled my entire life because I've been told to do a HIIT workout until I came to this program. That's all.
I feel that. Yeah, that was a big era. Like the HIIT era was definitely a thing. And then it was like, wait, actually, let's not do that. So there's a lot of, trends that come in and out. So it sucks when we feel bamboozled and confused. So I feel that. I went through a big HIIT phase myself. I'm glad we're
So since everything I feel like is so cyclical and trendy, like even the hormone stuff, like how do you know like what is tried and true and what is just kind of a fad?
Yeah, research. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I do my research. I am up to date. And following one coach is definitely the best because of course you can find a really accredited coach who will coach you through, being completely vegan or being completely carnivore. And I'm sure they know their shit. Of course, there's science that proves everything. That's kind of the interesting thing about like the science field is, yeah, you could actually find research that backs up intermittent fasting. You could find research that backs up being keto. Like you can find research to prove anything. So what I would recommend is one, finding what fits best for your body, finding what you enjoy, finding one coach that you trust, not trying to just scroll on TikTok and listen to this person and then this person and then, jump and jump and jump constantly. I think learning from multiple coaches throughout your life is definitely beneficial, but ideally finding either just like one person or one method at a time is really good. So you can kind of block out the noise. And yeah, listening to your body. And then also, like kind of going back to what I was saying, making sure that they're a coach. A lot of times if you're on Instagram or TikTok and you're hearing things, it's coming from, influencers. And sometimes people are a coach. And as much as I hate it too, it's honestly really fucking easy to become a coach. So making sure that it's not only a coach, just not like an influencer girly who just wants a video to go viral or whatever. There's a big difference between fitness coaches and fitness influencers. So yeah, but we've always had muscle mass on our bodies and we will only benefit from muscle mass. It'll help you lose body fat. It'll help your bones stay strong. It'll give you energy. So you can't really go wrong with it. It's not really a fad, which that's good. Strength training has never gone out of style. So that's great. Anybody else? All right, chickens. This was fun and fresh and cute. Post your little pics, tag me. I'll be giving out something. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.